Hi and thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean the Vaping Biker. Today we've got a recorded vlog rather than a live one, and let me tell you the reason why. Basically, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Vape Fest, but also I wanted to show you a whole bunch of stuff that's come into the review queue. And I know that with some of the live stuff on occasions anyway, I don't get a chance to look at the chat, and so what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to just kind of ignore everyone for sort of a longer period of time than I normally have to. Oh, so I've got my phone on, sorry about that. So yeah, so I thought I would do a recorded one, just because why the hell not? And there is a lot there to show you, so let's get stuck into it, shall we? So we've just come out of the Vapor Expo weekend, which was immense. It was just huge. It was the biggest event I've ever been to. It was the best run event I've ever been to. I enjoyed absolutely everything about it. When it was too loud in some areas, it was big enough to be able to go to other areas that weren't quite so loud. It wasn't, well, there was a lot of people. There was over 18,000 people there. They were still counting up last time I spoke to the organisers, and a couple of days ago, and it was over 18,000 at that point. So it's huge. I think it was like 460 brands were there or something like that. I put the details on the start of my previous video, so you've got a couple of stats there, but it was just immense. You wouldn't have thought that many people were there, but when you look at the size of it, there seemed to be obviously people were spread out a lot more. So you know, the same amount of people as have been at previous events would have been at this one, and it's not that they were lost, but there was just so much space because it was so huge. Which, particularly as someone that was going around on a little trikey chair thing, it made my life considerably easier. But it also meant that with the amount of vendors there, with the amount of people that were there, it meant that very rarely were you so deep to get to a vendor to see their products that you had to wait for extreme amounts of time. So I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I thought the amount of hardware was fantastic. There was a lot of juice there. To be honest with you, I didn't really try many juices at all, but there was obviously a lot of juice. It's a convention, of course there's going to be a lot of juice there, but there was a hell of an amount of hardware in there as well, which I thought was absolutely superb. Let me just have a vape, shall we? That is about to go dry. So yeah, I mean, I thought everything was really, really good. The organisation, getting people actually into the event, so you know, there wasn't too much hanging around once the doors opened on the Saturday. I thought that was absolutely superb. All in all, the best vape event I've ever been to. That's about it. That's about as good as I can say. And the great thing is they're coming back in October with another one, and there may be some advantages to, or some extras to that one that we saw on this one as well. Being that there may be some modders stuff going on in there. Depends on which modders are interested in being there, I guess. But yeah, so there may be something like that going on there. But all in all, I just can't wait and see what they do to top this last one, because I think it was a hell of an event. The really bonkers thing was the fairground rides and stuff inside, and the reason for that, and when I spoke to the organisers, they told me that what they wanted to do is, the whole event is to celebrate vaping. We get that, that's fine. But what they wanted to do was include something that was just pure fun. You know, they're celebrating vaping. They wanted to, that sort of enjoyment level and fun and silly and all that sort of stuff to all be in there, which is why I've got to keep checking my phone. Dizzy's at the vet's again. She's staying at the specialist overnight, so if I do keep checking the phone, I apologise. But no, so yeah, they wanted to bring the fun back into it and all that sort of stuff, and so it was a celebration. It was a celebration of vaping, which I thought was absolutely great. And it was one of those things, and especially if it's your first kind of event of that kind, you kind of go in there and you see these massive stalls, and it's a bit breathtaking. And then you see these I've overdripped. Then you see these fairground rides, and it kind of blows you away. Which it was just a bit surreal. It was awesome. I thought it was very, very cool. Why did I overdrip? Why did I overdrip? Put far too much juice on that. Anyway, So all in all, I'm very much looking forward to October. I think it's going to be amazing. If you went, I hope you had a jolly good time. If you said hello to me, thank you very much indeed. It really made my day speaking to as many really great, nice people as I spoke to over that weekend. It was by far the biggest event for selfies and all that sort of stuff. And at times it was great because we were going down the kind of side avenues of the whole thing, you know, and people were stopping, and then I was getting to move about 5 feet in 20 minutes, which was a hoot. No, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was absolutely superb, and I loved meeting everybody. I hope everybody got to say hello that wanted to. I know some, that sounds really egotistical, I know, but I know some people said that they haven't come up to me previously because they got a little bit worried or concerned, and I've tried to waylay those fears in the past by saying that I'm just a normal fat bloke, which I am. So but that was just an amazing experience. So all in all, brilliant weekend. Myself and Mrs. Vape and Biker absolutely loved it. It was great to hang out with Matt and V again. It was great to hang out with John, Inky Vapor, and G-Shy, Dino, Richard, just all of the gang. Mr. Todd, of course, obviously. But just everybody. It was brilliant. Anyway, I'm going to stop gushing on that. You can get a feel for it in my last Expo video if you want to have a quick one. And I managed to do it in like 6 minutes, which I was quite impressed with myself about. Right, vape time. Yeah, I definitely overdripped on that bad boy. Anyway. Series build with a minty juice. Not sure how I feel about that yet. You might hear the voice. I'm not doing overly well at the minute, but I am on the smoothies. So hoping to get a little bit better, a little bit quicker. And as I mentioned, unfortunately, Dizzy's been very poorly again, so she's back at the specialists. Yeah, well, I'm waiting to find out how she's getting on with those guys. Let's get into this. I'm getting sidetracked. I'm doing a Todd. Right, so I've got no vlog notes, but I have got my review queue, which, let me tell you, is scary. It's so scary. It's so much in it. It's ridiculous. So what I'm really going to be doing a hard push. I've had a lot of kind of things that have been a little bit of a pain in the bum recently with regards to illness and conventions and stuff that have all kind of stopped me getting involved and getting as much content out as I'd like. But unfortunately, while I do have a handful of things that came in mid-May, the early May and the Vape Jam stuff, I've still got a couple of things that I need to push out there from those events. But then I can get onto the sort of the newer stuff. But all in all, my review queue has about 30 items on at the moment, which is just ridiculous. It's just crazy. Now, everything that I got at Expo and that has come in the post since, obviously is going to get a lot tested, or is going to get tested to its fullest capacity, as with absolutely everything else. So don't expect to see too much of those outside of vlogs or live streams for the next couple of weeks, I would imagine. But coming in, let's have a little look. Oh, you probably need to get a drink. I'm okay with you if you pause this right now and go and get a drink with your vape, get some more juice, because this probably is not going to be a short one. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off and then turn it on again, so there's plenty of recording space. Right, let's do that. Splendid, and here we go then. Let's get stuck into this bad boy. So, coming in from the event was the Goon 1.5, which is not that one, it's that one. I've got DHD drip tip going on here at the moment. Now, I didn't get the original Goon, obviously I did do the LP, but this one is a new one. This one was given to me by Ohms Distro, and those are the guys to speak to if you want to speak to about distribution, I guess. But yeah, the V1.5, I don't really know a great deal about it, other than so far I'm aware of having the wider kind of airflow holes rather than individual 3 holes, and I believe the screws are longer. I'm not sure that probably kind of counts for an upgrade, but I still don't know a great deal about it yet. So I only got it at the weekend. I've not looked into it at all. Obviously I will do for the review, so that was a thing. I also got the, I'm just going down my little list of things going on here. I also got the Cosmonaut. Now, the Cosmonaut here is one of those RDAs that a lot of people have asked me about so far. This, I believe, is the most recent version with a couple of improvements when it comes to screws and bits and bobs and things. Once again, I will get into that one and find out all the information necessary for that by the time I do the review. I thought I had some battery rattle in, but I don't. So that one's a thing. That one's going to be in the queue. I'm looking forward to doing that just because the CSMNT Cosmonaut had a lot of love given to it. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it. So far, the last few days and the little time I had with it over Expo, I've been quite enjoying it. What else have we got? We have got the Paranormal, the regulated mod from Lost Vape. So these bad boys here, now, where is it? Where is it? Here it is. So we have the Therian, okay, so the Therian with the Evolve board in it there, the DNA 75C. This one was given to me by Steam Island, and what we've got here is the Paranormal, which is very slightly different. I'm going to go and do proper comparisons and what have you. The review might be for these in the well, they might have the same review. What I like about this one, I have showed you the Therian before, but what I like about this one is you've got carbon fibre on this side, you've got wood on this side, but they're just to show you a couple of the different features on it. You can take these panels off and replace them so they're matchy and all that sort of good stuff. The other thing with this one is you've got that as a battery door, which I've got to say I much prefer to the battery door that you have in the Therian, because they just seem to be super angry on your battery wraps. This I do prefer. It is a little bit kind of plainer on that front end. You see what I mean? It kind of looks, this panel here, it does look a little bit on the plainer side, but yeah, I mean, I haven't even put batteries in this as yet, so I will be doing that. It's a little tiny bit bigger. It's a little tiny bit sort of chunkier than the Therian. So yeah, we're going to have a little play and see what size atomizers we can get on here and all manner of good stuff. But when it comes to the DNA 75, I've got some interesting, I've hopefully got a cool interview for you to go with the DNA 75 C when it comes to doing the review on those. So that's pretty exciting, and I do like Lost Vape stuff. I think it just tends to work, you know. It's good. I like it. Now you don't need to see me drinking stuff, dear. What else have we got? The Admiral. So I reviewed the Broadside quite some time ago. It's looking surprisingly clean at the moment. I reviewed the Broadside quite some time ago. I've been inundated with people asking me to do the Broadside on my mech tests, which I will do, but I will do it when I do it with the Admiral. Now, the Admiral is the 26... No, the Admiral is the 2700 version. So it's what I have noticed about this already is that the iJoy batteries are a little bit on the snug side, which is a bit of a worry, to be honest with you, because they are particularly snug. So you do have to make sure that your wraps are in good form, you know, because anything dodgy going on in your wraps, and you're not going to be very happy. Because inside, and this is a little bit saddening for the manufacturers of the Broadside, there's no sleeve in there. Now you do get a sleeve if you want to use an 18650, but not if you want to use the 2700. So that means that you know, even with this iJoy, it's a little bit snug to go in there, which I'm not a great fan of. So I would have liked to have seen this Admiral already. I would like to have seen this maybe just a mil bigger, so it had a little bit more space in there for the batteries, or even a mil and a half, so it could have had a sleeve in there, you know. But having said that, this isn't going to be for a starter, but this has got the same sort of 510 going on as we had on the Broadside, and you can see with the patinaing on this already, I have been using this quite a lot. Now then, have we got juice on there? We've got a little bit. Let's bang some more in and we can have vape. Oh, right hand doesn't work. One thing I've noticed about this Cosmonaut, the CSMNT thing, is the fact that there is zero juice well. Like, none at all. And there's only the single O-rings. Shall I undo it? That'll probably make it come out a little bit easier, wouldn't Yeah, and the only single O-ring at the bottom and at the top, so I'm not entirely sure if it's going to leak like a bastard. But yeah, I'm not a super fan of that. But anyway, let's have a little toot, shall we? Works like a champ, I tell you. Now, this button does require a little bit more pressure than on the broadside, but also it's a smaller amount of travel. Hey, I've overdripped again, look. See? Fucking... it does need a little bit more pressure than we had with the broadside, but I think that there's less movement in it, there's less travel. It still seems to be hitting super well, so I'm really excited about getting it on the volt tester, but now it seems to be working like a trooper. And this CSMNT thing is a nice smooth vape, I've got to say that one. So yeah, looking forward to showing that to you, absolutely. Now then, what else have we got? We've got a couple of things from Geek Vape, which I was kind of, not the sort of thing I get too involved with ordinarily, but I thought that they were quite cool. Now, this has been out for a little while, this little set right here. But what I really liked about this, and I know some people aren't a great fan of it, is while you have a little box here, it's a little LiPo affair. So we are good to go. We're in it already. But we've got a thumb firing kind of detonator switch on the top, and it's really clicky. Can you hear that? It's really clicky, and it's really springy as well. So I don't like carbon fibre ordinarily, but this is kind of quite textured. So I'm actually looking forward. I'll try and say that again. I'm looking forward to giving this a go. It's super light and it's quite dinky in size, but I think this is going to be quite good. And this is called the Wildfire Kit. So, I mean, obviously I'll tell you about the tank, but the review is going to be primarily about the mod. But no, I'm really excited about getting into this little bad boy, because I think this could be quite sweet. I think it could be quite nice for one of those little stealth setups. However, when we're talking about super stealthy, as far as they told me, Geek Vape took 2 of these to Vapor Expo, and they gave me 1 of them. Oh, thank you very much, Geek Vape. This is the Digi-Flavour U-Box. Now then, another little kit, and it's tiny. What can I compare it to? If I show it to you via, or compare it to the Therian, so there we go. That gives you some kind of perspective. It is a dinky little tiny dinky mod. The Minikin V2. It's a little bit of a size perspective thing again. It's tiny as you like. But the thing about this I thought was really interesting, that once you take the tank off it, which looks like any other sub-tank, I swear there's not much difference in weight between the two. This is crazy light. You're going to have a tiny little LiPo in here, and it's unregulated. So you turn it on and you get those little dots, and that's it. There's no turning up or down. There's no kind of regulation going on there. So it's an unregulated, direct from the battery kind of power. But it's cute as a button. It really, really is. It's got this kind of U-box thing going on there. A little bit of texturizing going on there. You've got those 3 dots with the little thank you father, and where you go. And it looks as though you might be able to get some decent size atomizers on it as well. So I think this is really, really sweet. So I will be giving this a darn good seeing to. Oh shit me bollocks. Right, I'll pick that up in a bit. I will be giving that a darn good seeing to at some point. But thank you very much to Geek Vape for sending that on. I will get to that as soon as I can. Now then, what else have we got going on? Wildfire, U-Box, done that. Oh. We have got this. Now this, you know, I don't review tanks. And I told James at Rig that I don't review tanks, and he said, well, just take this anyway so you can have a play with it. This is the American tank. Basically, Rig has got a side portion, which is called American Made. American. And this tank is made in China, unlike the normal Rig stuff that's made in America. And it uses the same coils as the TFV whatevers. TFV8s, I think, maybe TFV4. I don't really know the difference. But excuse me, it uses the same coils anyway. They will be doing at some point an American-made rebuildable section for this as well. So that's going to be something to look out for. But it's been an interesting little tank, to be honest with you. It's fairly chunky, it's fairly sizable. But let's have a little toot on this. Now then, you can see in the tank there, you've got these kind of lines going in there, which is sort of a cage that goes over the coil, which was pretty interesting. It's chunky. It's the one thing I'm not a huge fan of is, and I've said this to you guys before, is the coils with just a huge inner diameter inside that coil, because I think you get more heat than you do flavour. If this does use the TFV whatever coils, the ones with the kind of multiple coils in there, I may even buy some to stick in here and see how that goes. Because as a tank, I think it's nice and chunky. It's a big bugger. Where's my little... Where is my thingies? Where's my thingies? You know, the thingies. Here we go. Right, so this comes out at 25.5mm. So 25.5mm gives you a pretty chunky old tank. And once again, I will find out a lot more information before I talk more about it. I don't know if it's going to get a full review because it never was, you know, I said to James that I don't do reviews on tanks at the moment. But no, it's certainly going to get a lot more testing from me, and I'll be able to give you more information on that one in future vlogs if you're interested. But I thought it looked quite cool, to be honest with you. I think it looks pretty chunky and pretty sweet. You will see that that is sitting on top of the G class, which I think this one, I really made up that they gave me this one with the leather and what have you, because I think that looks awesome. This caused me so much frustration purely because it takes a bit of getting used to when it comes to the user interface and how you make things happen. So it kept going into, kept somehow putting it into temperature mode, and I could not get it out of temperature mode, and I was trying to tear my hair out, and it was a freaking nightmare. Then I eventually got it hooked up with a phone. It kept wanting to put my location services on the phone and doing weird things with that. That was really annoying. Eventually got it all together, and I was going to put, I thought it would be quite sweet for the event to have my Vaping Biker logo on there. So I was going to put a logo on there, but the software at this moment in time doesn't do it. So that was... that is something that you will be able to do very soon. But no, all in all, I have been super surprised about the battery life for this mod. Dual 18650s going up into the bottom of there. Obviously, I was a little bit concerned that where this lights up along the back there, that was going to do an undue drain on the batteries. But no, I've been rocking this at kind of mainly the 88.8 watts, and I've been pretty surprised about the battery life on it. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that. Obviously, the mod will get a full and proper review, but it's chunky, it's heavy, it feels comfortable in the hand, it's easy to fire with your thumb or with your finger. I like it. I like this mod. So it's been out for a while, but I think I'm still going to do the review for it. So yeah, that was interesting. So thank you very much, Yeti, for giving me that one. What else have we got going on? The Minikin Mini, which I've left downstairs and I can't show you. It's basically a really dinky little Minikin. Little Minikin reborny kind of thing. What have we done with it? I think... there we go. If you imagine this, but dinky. That's kind of where we're going. Really tiny. So yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you that one as well. There's going to be a few little dinky mods. We might make a week of it. Should we do that? Let me know if we should make a week of the tiny mods. But there we go. What we got? 15.5 minutes. I'm going to turn the camera off and then on again. Ta-da! Press my little gadget up there. Where you go? What? So yeah, so that's a thing. It's all happening. This Modus Mini stuff, lovely. What else have we got? Right, so that covers everything that we got at Expo, I think. Could be wrong, but I think so. Now then, and this is where this is, you know, I know as a reviewer I shouldn't kind of complain about getting stuff into review, but it's not like I'm a kind of regular vapor and I just get new toys to play with. There's stuff that you have to do with these things, and it's a lot of pressure, and this queue is just fucking huge at the minute, and it's very stressful. But anyway, what have we got to come in? So we've had the Cheetah 2 RDA from OBS. Now, this is the Cheetah 2. This is the gold version. I'm kind of into my gold RDAs at the minute. I know. It's a little bit kind of Ali G, but I'm kind of into it. It looks quite cool indeed. Hold you on. Let me show you what the deck looks like. Da 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 da. Right hand doesn't work. Off you come. The deck looks a little bit interesting and a little bit oily, which is nice. There we go. So yeah, that's fun, isn't it? So we've got holes at the top and then clamps at the bottom. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to build with. We have the side airflow going in, a pretty deep juice well going on there as well. I don't think it comes with a swamp pin, but I will have to check. It may well do. In fact, should I check now, just for completeness sake? Where is the box for it? I'd love to check, but I might not be able to. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I found it. Calm down. So yeah, I mean, that's the box if you want to see what the box looks like. It comes in a variety of different colours. You've got stainless black, gold and blue. Random, but it's there. It's a thing. Let's have a little look in the spares box and see if it comes with a swung pin. I really hope it does, but I don't think it does. And no, it doesn't. No squonk pin. Well, that's poo. That's poo. But you do get a really chunky, big old blue screwdriver. That's a blue screwdriver and a half. So that's the thing. Anyway, I'm looking forward to giving that a blast. There is one thing about it that I'm very uneasy about, in all honesty. I'm very let me look. I've just got so much crap all over my desk. So much. Right. Okay, so we've got Cheetah going on there. However, if we turn this around, now, can you see these logos? Can you see them? Do they remind you of anything else? In as much as... So, although there's two of them on this Cheetah, they've got a very similar logo to the Goon, which I'm not super comfortable about, just because it's a lack of doing anything special, you know what I mean. So yeah, I'd like that not to be there, but there you go, it's a thing. We'll see what it vapes like. We'll see what it's like. It's certainly not a clone of the Goon. It's very different on the inside, as you've just seen. So we'll have a little play with that and we'll see what that's like at some point in time. Vape time! Now then, I have also got the Crius RDTA. Now, long-term viewers may remember that a year or a couple of years ago when the first Crius came out, I was shocked. It was a brilliant tank. I really enjoyed using it. It was awesome. So I expect a lot from anything different that comes under that Crius banner. They've made an RDTA, which is a bit of a shame because it's an RDTA. However, whilst we've seen a million of them by now, while I'm not going to review it, I will have a little go with one and see what it's like and let you guys know in a vlog. But my good friend Ian, who did the brilliant reviews on the RDTAs on my website, will be doing an RDTA review on that as well. I've actually sent him a couple of things, so hopefully we're going to get a little bit more content on the website, and you get to experience a little bit more of Ian's humour, which I think is just fantastic. It was really good to see so many people enjoyed the article that he wrote previously. If you've not seen it, go across to vapingbiker.co.uk and check out the Vandy Vape and the 2 RDTA reviews. I can't remember, but they're by Ian, so check them out because they're really good. Anyway, what else have we got? Have we got anything else? The Amit 25, which I don't have in front of me because I'm completely ill prepared. It looks just like like a single coil version of the dual coil. You know, the dual coil was a dual coil version of much smaller single coil. So now looks like they've got the extra size involved, changed the airflow ever such a little bit, and done that. So I don't know if I'm going to review that at all or not yet, to be honest with you. But it's a thing. They did send me one of those on. I told them, I was honest with them, and I did let them know that I don't do a review. So I'm not accepting stuff in the full intention that I'm not going to review it. I do tell these companies that I don't do tanks anymore, and still they send me stuff. So in that case, I will, if I get multiples, I will put them in the charity raffle, which has to happen really soon because my prize boxes are going to be huge. But yeah, you're going to get a bunch of stuff coming through soon. And unfortunately, just no tank reviews from me. But there will be some tank reviews on the website. Now then, what else have we got going on here? We have got the Springer. I told you, did I not? I warned you, didn't I, that this is going to be huge. And it fucking is. It fucking time for a drink. That was a bit lumpy. Anyway. Now then, this company contacted me and asked me if I'd review it. Now, the company is called Tiger Tech, and the RDA is called a Springer RDA. Now, this is something that we have kind of seen before, but I wanted to do this purely because with being me, with my gammy hand, not being too clever, this has a different way of doing the posts. Now, like I say, we have seen sprung posts before, and we have seen kind of the ones where you have to apply pressure to them to release the holes, so to speak. Unfortunately, they've generally not seemed to be that great. There was a tank I reviewed last year, I think, which wasn't too bad. But yeah, so this is what we've got. This is what we've got to play with this Springer from these Tiger Tech people. Now, that's a hell of a thing. But what you've got here is you push that down, and that then releases those holes. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. But by pushing the top down, there we go, it's easier on that one, you're releasing the holes. So you push the top down, put your wire in, let go of it, and then it clamps back up again. There's a bunch of holes here to choose from. And I don't know if it's going to capture the wires very well at all or not. But I'm looking forward to giving it a go, because if you have got a sort of impairment and you can't hold screwdrivers very well, then something like this can be really, really useful, because all you've got to do is apply pressure to open up the post hole. You pop your coil in, and then you take your finger off, and it's clamped. It's there. So if you can't do the screwing, you can't do the Allen keys and all that, and the little Allen keys that you get with RDAs these days are a pig nightmare. Just so you know, I've said it before, but two of the best purchases that I've ever done is I got a set of these off Amazon. This is the 1.5, which I tend to use on a lot of atomizers, and I bought this one off Amazon as well. This is a Wera, W-E-R-A, and this is the 1.3, which works for basically all my other atomizers. So between the two of them, anything with an Allen key, atomizer post wise, I can do with these, which helps my gammy hands something chronic. So if you do have those sort of issues, go and check out Amazon. I think they're just like hex key or hex head screwdrivers, something like that. But yeah, the only issue that I've got with this this Springer thing is it's fucking huge. It really is a monster. There we go. If I pop that up against the Goon there, and the Goon's not a small atomizer, you can see that that is a fair old size beast. So yeah, I am looking forward to giving that a little crack and seeing what's going on. Actually, one of the things that I forgot to mention about from Jam was this. This is a Frost Box. Now basically it's a Hammond powder coated box. It has these Frost Box stickers on them. You can peel these off if you want to, or you can, when they start looking a bit tired and dirty and what have you, you can peel them off and pop another one on. It is just a Hammond, but it's a very clean Hammond. Excuse me, windy pops. So you can see in there that the old soldering is not bad at all. They've got the paracord going on. They've got little sort of Frostbox custom heat shrink stuff going on there, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of interesting solder points, but no, on the whole, it's a pretty strong unregulated series box. Now then, the reason I'm not going to... Oh, and one of the things I like is on the magnets. On the magnets on the base section, on the thick section, they're slightly raised. So they're slightly inset in the lid of the box. So once you pop that on, there's no movement there, which I like a lot. I do like that a lot. You've got a kind of a horn style push switch there, which generally I'm not a huge fan of, although I'm kind of getting used to. And let me tell you why I'm kind of digging this box, because I know it's not new, it's not funky, it's not kind of, it's nothing that we haven't seen before, but this is for the vapors that have been around for a while. Because one of my favourite parallel boxes is my Titan. So Silverstein Vapor do the Titan, and as a good solid just basic parallel box. I think these are brilliant. Mytech clicky switch in it, and I love it. Because when I started doing box mods, when I started building box mods like 2 or 3 years ago, everything seemed to be Hammonds. Hammonds were just the way forward, and the Hammond is this box. It's a project box, basically. And so getting back into having an old school, it seems daft saying old school after like 2 years old, but that's vaping for you. But getting back into Hammonds, I really like them. I like Hammond. I like a Hammond box because it takes me back a little bit. Now, the only couple of things that I would say to the Frost guys that I didn't say when I was at the show was, or the only one thing really is, with something like the Titan, you've got the flush 510, which is lovely. With the Frost box, you do not. So when you have something like this, which is obviously the Goon's kind of a wider than 22mm, it's a 24mm atomizer. So when it sits on top of a 22mm 510, it kind of does overhang the 510, which, you know, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Once again, it's kind of an old school thing, but I do think that if the guys could kind of set that in, that would make it very, very cool indeed. But all in all, I've actually been using this quite a lot, and yeah, I don't know whether it's because it's old school, I don't know whether it kind of takes me back to a fond time, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. Now, I know the guys are working on the next version of this, so what I've agreed with them is I'm not going to be reviewing this one because, I mean, it's been out a fair old while as well. What I will be doing is I will be reviewing the next one, and I'll be doing a comparison with this one so you can see how the box has evolved, how it's moved forward. Now then, the other thing to be aware of, you do get the Hammond lean with this one. Now, any of you that have been vaping a while and know about the Hammond boxes will know that the edges kind of flare out ever such a little bit, which means that when you put this flat on something, have I got something flat at height that I can put it on to show you? Kind of, is that going to be kind of showing you? Yeah, I mean, you can kind of just about see there that you've got a bit of a lean over to this way, and that's just the base of the box. That's just how they come. So yeah, I mean, they're not going to be for everybody because there's a lot of prettier, gadgetier things going out there now. But for anyone that likes the old Hammond boxes, that wants a series box, certainly go and check out the Frost Box Industries people, because I think they're pretty darn sweet, to be honest with you. I'm quite enjoying using it, and those magnets are a beast. Still overdripped on it. Is there much else? We're nearly there. We're nearly there. 14 minutes. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to turn the camera off and turn it back on again. So if you're someone that is pretty recent to my vlogs and haven't seen these before, the reason I have to turn the camera off and on again is because I'm using a Canon G7X Mark II to do the recording of this bit, and essentially it shuts down once it gets a file size of a certain size, and so yeah, after like 15-16 minutes it just goes, no, you're full, thank you very much, bugger off. But I'm working on changing that. I am working on I'm going to be selling my up close camera, which is my Canon Legria HF R76, and I am looking at getting a DSLR for my up close as well, but I may sort of swap that around a little bit. So anyway, there's going to be changes. Hopefully not too much of this kind of turning off and on again. I'm sorry that this one's really rambly, I really am, but there's so much. There is so much, wasn't there? Okay, so what else we got? We also do have come in from the nice people at Dopa. Now, remember that 1VP RDA? Oh, dropping things, dropping stuff. If I could say somewhere. The 1VP RDA that I reviewed a little while ago, I thought it was really, really good, and I was really, really happy to see something new coming out from Dopa that I really liked. They've now sent me this one, which is the Pure Flavour RDA. This is the gold one as well. I think I've got a stainless one going on there as well. That looks a little bit flash, doesn't it? Hey, I've got a whizzy drip tip and everything. Ooh, let's have a look. Ooh. Now, this does come with 2 caps, and I'll show you that second cap in a second. But let me show you the deck, because it's an interesting deck. We have the Velocity style posts going on, but we also have this big domey bit going on at the top there. So I imagine dripping through the top, it's going to mean that that comes down. I'm not entirely sure, but I think maybe Grim reviewed something about this a little while ago. I'm not overly sure, but I think that may be the case. So essentially what happens is the air comes through the deck, it goes up through the centre, and then it comes out of the side. So you do need to tuck your coils, I imagine, pretty darn sort of tightly next to those posts, because you can see that, yeah, I mean, if the air's going to come out there, it's just going to, you know, it's going to go straight up, isn't it, pretty much? So, yeah, I think that needs to tuck straight in there, and away you go. But you do get the two different size bell caps with it. Both of them, that's an interesting thing. I'll show you that in a second. Both of them are sort of domed at the top, but one of them is a little bit shorter. I imagine this shorter one will be even better for flavour. Oh, there we go. That's why. I should probably look at these things, but the reason that this top cap here looks a little bit funky is because it's got one of those flippy things, one of those jobs, like the Mad Hatter. Remember that? And yeah, and so when you look down there, you can see that you've just got the dome top of that thing in between the two posts. So this is going to be quite interesting. I'm quite looking forward to this. Although I think this cap may be a little bit gimmicky. This one could be the way forward. We'll see how we get on. But interesting nonetheless. So it's more good funky stuff for me to show you. And I know some people have been getting a little bit bored with all the mech reviews recently. So hopefully, if there's not something that kind of tickles your fancy in all of this so far today, I don't know what I can do to help you. Now then, what else have we got? So, Coil Master. Coil Master have got the new 521 tab, which is a beast. It's a big bastard without a doubt. Now then, unlike the previous one, this one does have 2 batteries in it rather than the previous single. So I imagine we are looking at a little bit more safety when we are firing lower resistances. Now you've still got the, I don't know if this is going to come through, but if I click it on one side, that's kind, can you see the redness? Can you see there's sort of a red ring around it, and the other side is a blue ring, and the screen is under here. The screen is really not very bright at all, but it's there. It's a thing. You can see it, but it's, yeah, it could do with being a bit brighter. Now then, to fire it, you've got this ring around the outside of the 510, which you push, which is a good idea to some degree. However, if you're firing a coil that you've just juiced up and all that sort of good stuff, you're putting your finger there, then there's quite a strong chance that could spit out and burn your little digits, you know. So I don't know if I'm overly cool about that firing mechanism right there, but it's a thing, and I will report back when I do more. I might do a review on this just to show you all about it. We've got these posts here for the positive and negative leads, so you can test wire and all that as well, which I think is pretty cool. Functionality wise though, it does everything that the last one did, but I think it's a little bit safer. This section around the outside here is also magnetic, I believe. So that means that if you have random bits of wire, not that, have I got any random bits of wire? There we go. So random bits of wire can stick to your thing rather than going all over the place. So, you know, if you like working tidily, maybe. I've just thrown wire everywhere. So yeah, that's a thing. I will let you know about that. Now the final thing at last is, I've not got it here. I haven't got it here. Yes I have. Nightcore. Now you may know that I've been doing a lot more of my mixing recently, and I'm very pleased to say that my Fender by Fenders V2 went down rather well at the weekend, so I'm quite pleased about that. One thing that I have got that I'm quite excited about trying out from Nightcore is this big bad boy, which is a magnetic stirrer. So basically you put your juice on top of it in a beaker or whatever else. You've got one of these little stirry things. Don't really know what the white things do, but you've got the, I don't know, thing. That's magnetic. That sticks to there like so. The magnets move around. You've got various controls and stuff, and heat controls and all that sort of good gubbins on there as well. And that stirs up your e-liquid. So it's not going to help massively with steep time, but it is going to help with just mixing it, you know. Because once again, with my gammy hand. I can't shake. I can't shake. There is no way I can demonstrate that without looking like I'm doing something dodgy. I can't shake the e-liquid, so I have to shake it with my left hand. And when you do things with your left, when you're normally a righty, it kind of is just a little bit weird. So it's going to help me with my juice mixing, but I will certainly do a review on that and show you all about it, and if I find it that it's effective or not, and hopefully give you a bit more information. Unfortunately, the adapter they sent me was completely the wrong one. I have no idea what type of country it's supposed to go with, so I will yeah. They are going to send me another adapter, but if I've got a travel adapter that I can find in the meantime, I'll use that. Now, that's it. I think it really is. Oh, I'm sorry it was so long. I'm sorry it was so kind of gibbery and jabbery and all that sort of malarkey. There was just a lot to tell you about. I don't think there's anything that I've not told you about in previous vlogs. I did enjoy using this Maze V3. I've been using that on my little Lost Art E Petite because I thought that was a cute little setup. I used this while I was away at the weekend. I thought that was quite cute. I think, well, I have shown you before, but just in a better kind of look there. Single coiler. Your airflow goes in that tube there. That's a tube that you can take out. You've got two different tubes that you can pop in, and you can dedicate that airflow. So similar, I think, to the way the Aeronaut works, but in a sort of much more compact little flavour chasing design. So I've had a jolly good time with that. Lots of people were giving me some love about my my homemade squonker there, which made me feel quite warm and cuddly on the inside. I did enjoy using that as well. I've got a butt ton of juice which I'm going to go through, and I'll tell you about during reviews. If I like it, I'll talk to you about it. But as you know, I don't do juice reviews. But that's cool. Oh, one of the things that I did get was a bucket load more Psycho Bunny Well Baked, which I think it's just a great Bakewell tart. I'm really enjoying that. Is there anything else? I don't know. Oh, now, I did say in my last live stream, I think, the wonderful people at Stackquam did send me the dripper, which I'm very excited about. It looks, for something that's quite high end. Packaging is immense. Something that's quite high end. Look at that. Now, I know not everybody's down with the cap, and that's fine. You can remove that. But for something that's quite high-end, look at that airflow, would you? Would you look at it? Oh, it's huge. So I'm really looking forward to building that one. I think that's going to be immense. I do have the tank components as well because the parts are interchangeable. So I will be popping it in tank form as well. And whilst I won't be reviewing tank stuff, I will be letting you know about the tank when I do the review on the dripper. So I'm very excited about that because I get a lot of people telling me how much the scrape stuff is really good. So I'm looking forward to getting a build in there. Now, hey. I think we really are done at that point. Thank you very much indeed. So once again, thank you to everybody that came across and said hello at the weekend. I thought it was just an amazing weekend, and part of that, it was amazing because you guys were all so kind and so nice and so polite, which I thought was brilliant. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much to all the vendors. I think I covered most people. I'll try and put a bunch of links down below for everything that I've discussed today as well. I think the only people I didn't say was the Cosmonaut came from Custom Vapes, and the Admiral came from Evolution Vaping. I think I've covered it all there. I'll try and put all the links down below, like I said. I think we're done. I think we're done. Awesome to see everybody. We've got October to look forward to when it comes to Vapor Expo. They've said that already. I can't wait. I think it's just going to be amazing. So if you're on the fence, and you want a big Vape Expo, if you were there in fact, then leave your comments down below about what you thought of the event. I'd love to hear what your opinion is as well even. Right, that's about it. Shall I do an end screen thing? Yeah, why not then? We'll put the subscription button there if you want to do it, and there we will put a couple of the last reviews. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Dean the Vaping Biker. This has just been a massive vlog. Have it large.